Okay, guys, today we're doing pretzel bites, and let's look at the good, the bad, and the absolute ugly of trying to make some keto pretzels. Hi, guys, it's your keto queen here, allegedly, and I'm so glad to have you here today. I am working on keto soft pretzels. I'm from Philadelphia and I love a good soft pretzel. So let me pause a minute and tell you my ingredients. So I have almond flour, coconut flour, eggs, cream cheese, mozzarella cheese, baking powder, and some seasonings, and I'll put everything in the description box, I promise. So I'm starting with my dry ingredients, which are 1.5 cups of almond flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Okay, so next I'm going to mix my wet ingredients, which are 2 ounces of cream cheese and 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. So these 2 ingredients go into the microwave and are heated up in 30-second intervals until it's nice and smooth. I'm waiting to let you know how much I want you. When I think about you, I feel la 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 la. When I think about you, I want la 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 la. When I think about you, I feel la 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 la. When I think about you, I want la 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 all that time. Oh. So I ended up heating this up for about 1 minute and 20 seconds. It totally depends upon your microwave. Okay, so now that it's a dough-like texture, I'm going to add 1 egg. Oops, I got a bit of a shell, so let me take that out. Okay, guys, I've added another egg and another piece of shell. Does this ever happen to you guys? Comment down below. So I'm mixing everything together and hopefully we're going to get a dough out of this. Okay, guys, so now I'm adding the dry ingredients and we're going to mix this up and turn it into a dough. So let me say this, baking is a science, okay? And if we don't do it exactly right, or as close to exactly right as you can, then it's going to get messed up. And for the record, I did change some of this recipe. It called for almond flour only, and I substituted some of the almond flour for coconut flour. Alright guys, so next I have the dough here. We're supposed to cut it into 4s and begin to try to create a pretzel. As you can see, it's extremely crumbly. Okay guys, I gave up on trying to make a pretzel because it was just too crumbly, so I'm going to make pretzel bites, and that's what we have here. I also decided to be creative and take some cheddar cheese cubes and put them inside a couple of the bites. Find me one day. Oh, I never knew that you would be the one headed my way. Yeah. Oh, you caught me off guard and you took me by surprise. Okay, so now I've moved the pretzel bites to a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and I have about half of them with cheese in them and the other half without. Okay guys, this is what they look like when they came out. It is a serious epic fail, okay? I don't know what's going on. They look like between like a biscuit and a cracker. I don't know, but they just did not come out well at all. And of course, when I tasted it, it tastes very, very grainy, like a cornbread slash biscuit. Did not give me pretzel vibes at all. So guys, I had some dough left. I put it in the refrigerator. I said maybe if it gets a little firm. So I tried to create some pretzels, and I just put some butter on top rather than the egg wash. I figured that might help it melt. Didn't come out any better. So it's definitely back to the drawing board. Okay guys, here I am again about 2 days later with a different recipe from a different YouTuber. I've got some pepper, salt, cream cheese, mozzarella cheese, butter. I've got 2 eggs. I've got some baking powder, and I have coconut flour. I am completely out of almond flour, so I'm using coconut flour, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so when we talk about almond flour and coconut flour, for some reason, we have to use less coconut flour than almond flour when we're doing a ratio. So this recipe originally called for a ½ cup of almond flour, but I used a third of a cup of coconut flour, and it doesn't look like I used a full third, so I went back and added a little bit more. Now again, with baking being a science, sometimes it can be trial and error, and that's the downside of when you have a channel that makes food, and I'm just giving it to you just like it is, okay? So this recipe also called for a tablespoon of baking soda, for which I substituted baking powder, and it also called for yeast, a tablespoon of yeast. So I put in 2 tablespoons of baking powder and a teaspoon, which you'll see later on, of lemon juice, because I looked up substitutes, and you can substitute yeast for a mixture of baking powder and lemon juice. Now I'm going to add my salt and my pepper, and that makes up my dry ingredients. Coconut flour, baking powder, I did use a teaspoon of allulose, and then all the other stuff I just said. I will put what I used in the description box, guys. So you're going to have like 2 things in the description box, okay? 2 different recipes. Okay, guys, so another tip is that when you're using coconut flour, you have to incorporate an egg. So for every 1/4 cup of coconut flour that you use, you need to incorporate an egg. So since I used a third of a cup, this original recipe did not call for an egg at all. But since I used a third of a cup of coconut flour, I am incorporating 1 egg. Again, I'm playing around with the science. And then also, this is where I added my teaspoon of lemon juice. I do want to let you know that I do feel like I have some baking skills. I've baked a lot of cookies, cakes, and pies in my day, so I'm not in the dark with my experimenting. Okay, so next I'm adding 2 cups of mozzarella cheese and 1 ounce of cream cheese. With the mozzarella cheese and the cream cheese, I've also added a tablespoon of butter. Okay, this goes into the microwave for 30-second intervals, and I put it in again for about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Okay, now this mixture looks a bit doughy, so we're going to begin to combine all of the ingredients together. So even though this looks like dough, I know that it isn't real dough, so I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to incorporate my dry ingredients into this, into this mozzarella and cream cheese and butter mixture that looks like dough. Okay, next I'm going to add in the egg and lemon juice mixture. And remember, since I substituted the coconut flour, when you substitute coconut flour, it does call for 1 egg with every 1/4 cup of coconut flour that you substitute. So that's why I'm incorporating this egg. And it was very difficult to put the entire egg in because I didn't want the doughy texture to fall apart. But I made it through. Okay, so now my dough is complete and I am going to let this dough rest for 10 minutes. Okay, so now I've got my cookie sheet covered with parchment paper and I'm going to start rolling out my dough to make some pretzel bites. Okay, so these are going in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. Oh yeah, and I did flatten them so they would have a better shape. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at them. They look so cool. I put them on broil for about 2 minutes. Remember, these are supposed to be soft pretzel bites. By surprise. So many things that I wanna do. So while I was waiting, I made a cinnamon and sugar topping. Let me show you what I used for this. So this is a coconut brown sugar, and let's see how many carbs it is. It's 8 carbs for I think like 2 teaspoons. And then I also use the allulose. Shout out to whoever recommended the allulose. I love it. I absolutely love it. I will not be buying some of the other products again. I'm going to stick with the allulose. I also have everything bagel seasoning. So I'm going to season half of them with everything bagel and then the other half with the cinnamon coconut sugar allulose mixture. Okay guys, let's get ready for the taste test. The first one is the cinnamon one. I'm so excited. They look really good. They feel nice and soft. So let's see what we have. Oh wow, it looks pretty good. Texture is pretty good. Remember, it's a soft pretzel and I really like it. It is such a vast improvement. I'm really impressed. I'm impressed with myself and my science of baking. Don't be afraid to experiment, y'all. It takes a lot of time and energy, but sometimes it can be very rewarding. Now let's take a look at the everything bagel ones. You know I have a sweet tooth, but this is a savory one. And yeah, I like the texture of it. I can definitely eat this one with some mustard. I know it looks a little blurry. There it is right there. Yeah, look at that inside, guys. I am just amazed at how well it turned out. So guys, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly of trying to make a keto pretzel bite. I really appreciate you for watching this video. I hope you watched all the way through. It turned out really well, and I am so happy. I am going to put the recipe down at the bottom. Shout out to Keto Homestead with Jess. That's where I got this second recipe from, and remember, I added my own twist to it because I didn't have all of the ingredients that she called for in her recipe. But nevertheless, they turned out great. They're edible, and I will absolutely be making this recipe again. Remember, guys, it's a keto journey, keto life with your keto queen. I so appreciate you, and thanks for watching. I can't wait for the next recipe. Bye-bye.